Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Dukkha Pedacani Dukkha Bhaya Pedacani Bhaya Soka Pedacani Soka Hontu Sababi Panino. Venerable members of Mahasangha, dignitaries on the dais, friends in Dhamma, Dhamma brothers and sisters. Actually, I thought I would only give Ashirvad Vachan, blessing, as I had cough and cold and sore throat, not in a position to speak, but our host and friend, Dr. Gulshan Sharmaji, requested me to speak a few words. At the outset, I extend my thanks and gratitude to the organizers and also audience for bearing till this moment. We have heard a lot. The topic of today's discussion, as we have seen, is living Buddhist leadership. But the way it has been discussed, from there we can be sure it is not only living Buddhist leadership, but the main focus area, there are two. One is Buddhism, the other is tourism, isn't it? What we have spoken or have been discussing till now, it's centered around these two concepts, Buddhism and tourism. As our venerable monk from Japan, he has pointed out, if we are to promote tourism, pilgrimage, we have to have certain basic infrastructure, amenities, connectivity, which need to be taken care of by concerned authority, the government of India or the concerned state governments. And we have heard also from the authority in the government of India who have spoken, saying that some of the things or the areas, they are the subject matter of the state government, and the government of India only collaborate and do the publicity. Probably these international chambers for service industry might have to work out how to coordinate the state government and the central government and with other stakeholders to get this work done. It's very important. And here the other point is, when we talk about tourism, it involves commercialization, profit making, or money making. So we should not forget, Buddhism, though it has the prospect of tourism, we cannot dilute the sanctity and purity of spiritual essence of Buddhism. When we are talking about the inflow of tourists being more in number in China, in Indonesia, Thailand, and other Asian countries, and not in India, we have to find out the reasons for that low inbound tourists to India, inbound Buddhist tourists to India, though India is housing all the important Buddhist sites, all the important Buddhist places connected with the life and teaching of the Buddha. Not only the 7 important places, there are also many other places in Andhra Pradesh. In the undivided Andhra Pradesh alone, there are more than 280 archaeological Buddhist sites unknown to the world outside. I have personally visited many of them, and nobody knows. If these sites are not developed, not publicized, and no proper connectivity and infrastructure is being developed, how will people from Buddhist countries come to India? We cannot just expect, like any of other Indians, or do, that somebody from above the sky will do for us, for our happiness, for our growth, for our development. Somebody from above the sky, some god or goddess or somebody will do for us. We should change our perception now. We should change our way of thinking. All these things we only have to initiate. The Indians, Indian government and the state government, we have to embark upon this project to promote tourism, Buddhist pilgrimage, and also Buddhist spiritualism. So this while maintaining the sanctity and purity of spiritual aspect of Dhamma or Buddhism, we can promote pilgrimage, Buddhism, and also tourism together. That need to be worked out very meticulously by the concerned authority. And the other point I want to make today is, in the context of living Buddhist leadership, these 3 words. Last word is leadership. Then let's go back another one word, Buddhist. Then living, backward. Living Buddhist leadership, then Buddhist, then living. So when we talk about leadership, generally we have impression in our mind. Is this leadership means some people who possess those qualities of leadership, and these leaders are capable to make influence or impact on the human mind, human society, in the world, or at different areas of life. They are the leaders. And when we qualify these leaders or leadership by the word Buddhist, then again it goes one step ahead or above. Not only leaders, but Buddhist leaders. And my question is, who are those Buddhist leaders? How do we qualify a person to be Buddhist leader? That's a very important point. And when we talk about living Buddhist leaders, who are those living Buddhist leaders? As we understand, from Buddha come Buddhist. If there was no Buddha, there can be no Buddhist, or there would have been no Buddhist. So, as from Buddha the term came Buddhist, a Buddhist leader has to possess or has to be embodied with the qualities that the Buddha had developed. So, essentially, for a person to be Buddhist leader, has to possess the quality of metta, the Maitri, having a mind and heart full of compassion for all living beings. A person calling oneself a Buddhist leader cannot have discrimination, cannot have partiality, telling that I am Buddhist leader and you are non-Buddhist, my work is only for the Buddhist, not for others. This kind of discrimination or partiality cannot be done by a Buddhist leader. Because when the Maitri or Metta is awoken in the heart of a person, a Buddha, a Bodhisattva, a Buddhist leader, it becomes like radiating the energy, a positive energy, like the rays of the sun. When there is sunlight, it doesn't have any discrimination, any partiality. It's open for all, available for all. And it depends on the persons how we can use the light and the rays of the sun for the betterment of oneself and the world. So also a Buddhist leader heart and mind has to be open. And Maitri means it can only do good. It can only do something to promote peace and happiness, good things. So when we are to say a living Buddhist leader, we should really develop these qualities with us. And this Buddhist leadership, we have to look into the past. Who are those Buddhist leaders in the past? If we have to talk about ourselves and if we have to consider ourselves as Buddhist leaders and living Buddhist leaders, we have to find out the qualities that Buddhist leaders in the past have possessed, the work they have done. And in my understanding, importantly, the Buddhist leader in the past, the first name counts, is Ashoka the Great Emperor. We have to have a person like him. He should be our ideal person. Ashoka the Great, how he has transformed the whole Indian subcontinent with the feeling of Maitri, Karuna, and the service, Seva. So we have to have that quality if we are to be Buddhist leaders, living Buddhist leaders. And next, we had Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Buddhist leaders. He also had contributed. Whatever he worked for the seva, for the good and welfare of the people whom he felt were really weak people who needed assistance and help to come up in the society. We also have Anagarika Dhammapala, the great Buddhist leader who actually revived Buddhist cultural heritage, Buddha Dhamma in India after many centuries. This is my humble request. As we are discussing on living Buddhist leadership, let's keep in mind that we develop those qualities within us, learn from the past Buddhist leaders, and try to make an impact that I call positive transformation. Positive transformation should be the motto of our activities or programs of Buddhist leadership, or living Buddhist leadership. This positive transformation should be taken in the form of seva. When we talk about pilgrimage, tourism, we should not have in our mind totally commercial kind of thing. Definitely for running of the programs and packages, we'll have to look into all that money aspect. But at the core of the heart, we should have seva manubhav, that is service bent of mind. We have to transform the society. We have to transform our human mind. We have to transform India positively for the good, for the welfare, for the happiness of all through our activities, through our programs. And this transformation, in my understanding, can be done through, number one, education. Very important. When I talk about education, I do not mean education in the school, college, university, how it is being taught, the syllabus of different subjects. I'm talking about here the education which we need. We need today very badly the kind of education that is universal, non-sectarian education. I have to understand myself. I am part of the human world and this globe. I am not different from the people who belong to other religion, other community, other caste. So this education of universal identity, or education for universal brotherhood, education for coexistence is very much needed. What we are doing nowadays, in the name of religion, the rituals, differentiating each other, antagonizing, anger, hatred against each other, these are actually the outcome of the poisons we have in our mind. Therefore, we have to have education to cleanse these poisons so that we can have better mind, a mind full of this purity, sanity and clear vision, where we see everyone as our own brothers and sisters. We may call ourselves by different names. We may think we belong to different religions, different cultures, but we have to essentially understand we are human beings. We are not created by different gods and goddesses. We are created by the same universal cosmic energy. We are under the same universal law, the cosmic law. There are no two different cosmic laws, no two different truths. If there are two different gods creating different kind of people, let there be those two different group of people here, and you would increase the temperature to 1000 degrees Celsius and call your God to save you. Impossible. So we have to understand, we all are subject to the same law of nature, same energy, same cosmic law. As our brother has said, nobody wants suffering, dukkha. Nobody wants to be killed. Everybody wants peace and happiness. Everybody wants to be secure. This is the ichha, genuine desire of all human beings. So we are all one. This is the universal truth. That's what this is. This has to be education to be imparted at different levels. And in this context, what I want to say is, this feeling of, or the ichha, to survive, to live peacefully, happily, securely, without fear, is not only with human beings. Even the animals also do not want suffering. Animals do not want to be killed for our taste. we have to give rights to animals. Let animals also live freely as like us, human beings. Because when somebody comes to kill us, we shiver, we get afraid. So also animals are afraid to die. They don't want to get killed. It's better have compassion, not only for human beings, but for all living beings, even for animals. It's my humble appeal to everyone present here today. And at last, the other point is to transform positively human mind and human society is through training. Training. We have to have training. Training of human mind, training of human heart. With the training, what our Gulshan Sharmaji has suggested, 60 boys and girls to be trained in the art of handling the tourists or pilgrims. We have to train them not only in skill development, but also in the development, positive development of heart and mind. It's very important. Only then we can make proper use of their service. If their heart is not developed, not trained, if their mind is not developed and trained, we cannot really provide good service to the tourists or pilgrims. As the Indians have their own level to be rough and tough compared to the Japanese or Thai or others when dealing with people. When you go to outside, you see they're so humble, so polite, but we may behave in different way. So that's the thing I think we have to focus while training our children or the prospective pilgrim executives to be future the people to guide the pilgrims in India. And the seva, when we talk about service, as he's talking about International Chamber for Service Industry, talking about service, we have to keep this thing in mind. Service, what we are talking about, one is paid service. The tourism is talking about paid service. You will get service from us, but you have to pay for that. Buddhism talks about free service, right? So we have to keep in mind free service along with paid service. Then I think we can balance the two. That is what? Majjhima Patipada, the middle path. Then only we can move ahead in the right direction for the growth, happiness, and also good of all. Thank you so much.